Hi, this is Sean Carney with 40 Days for Life, and I want to give you some good news and some examples of just some of the basic pro-life apologetics that we've encountered the last few weeks that are very common since Roe v. Wade was overturned. The weekend that Roe v. Wade was overturned, I was asked to debate a abortion advocate, an American, on the BBC on their Sunday morning radio program, and that debate really it was very predictable going in. We covered that a lot in the book What to Say When. We went in and I was told I needed to be prepared to have my points ready and all of that, which is good because the Brits are usually actually pretty fair with debates and they give you equal time. But the way it played out in two areas: number one, religious views versus science, and number two, rape, which always comes up with abortion. Ironically, in this interview, it came up last. So I want to cover those. And the first is the distraction that the abortion industry has to have, which is we're all running around in the 12th century with a bunch of nuns and popes and Puritans with beards, and we're forcing our religion on women and we want to lock them up. No biology. No, is abortion good or bad? No, isn't this eugenics? No reason or science. Just we're the religious nuts, and you're the religious nuts, and we're not. And so this is kind of how that played out on the BBC, just as an example that we don't have to get lured into that trap when you're facing religious persecution because you believe in God or you believe in Jesus Christ. But they don't care about any of that. They care about distracting from the issue at hand, which is that abortion kills a baby. Roll the clip.
I'm also concerned just as an American citizen and as a leader in the church-state separation movement in this country, because church-state separation is the guarantee of religious freedom. And religious freedom applies to all of us, not just some of us, not just far-right Christian extremists in this country. It applies to Jews whose religion tells them that they have to get an abortion if their lives are at risk. It applies to many Christians who also support abortion rights. And what we believe is what religious freedom in the First Amendment of our Constitution promises all of us is the right to live and believe as we choose, so long as you don't harm others. Because when you are harming others, you are imposing your religious beliefs on them through the government, and that takes away their religious freedom.
This was expected. Ruth Bader Ginsburg said that Roe was bad law. It was very bad law. They didn't just overturn Roe v. Wade. They beat it up with a baseball bat. We're dragging ourselves out of 1973 science and into 2022. This is a great day for women, for men, for all Americans, when you recognize the basic biological reality of another human being. When you recognize the dignity of another human being, you're not restricting their rights. You're actually making your country more free. There's 64 million abortions in America since we legalized it, 3,000 a day currently, and abortion advocates won't tell us if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Does the unborn child have a right to life? Why can't we abort a baby on the day of their birth? At 39 weeks, at 32 weeks? Why do we regulate it? Why do we care about viability? We have lived in schizophrenia for nearly 50 years, and the Supreme Court is getting us out of it. So in that, we don't have to get sucked in when the woman is saying this is just the far right extremist, this is the religious view and all of that. We can just stick to the fact that this is a biological reality, that it's, the my body, my choice doesn't make sense. It doesn't apply in the real world. We have to wear a seatbelt, for crying out loud. And so we actually don't have the right to do whatever we want with our bodies. We can't go into a public park and start sawing our leg off in front of a bunch of little kids. And so we don't really have my body, my choice. And as you heard in the clip, it's not our body. The problem is there's somebody else. There's another body. That's why you want an abortion or you think you need an abortion, is because of that other body. And that other body, in order to not have a body anymore or live, must be killed. And so the whole idea of that this is some kind of a religious view is, I think it's disingenuous. This is what they're left to say. But in this debate on the BBC, this next clip that I'm going to share, it was interesting.
because in any debate I'm in or any conversation, and we certainly put it in the book, What to Say When, rape is number one. They come out and they go, the 12-year-old's raped and you don't care and you want to lock them up and you want to force them to have the baby. You want forced birth, which we've been telling people for 2 years, forced birth is a thing. They thought we were making it up and now it's commonplace. Everybody's talking about forced birth. But in this interview, the abortion advocate forgot to bring up rape and we were done. We were kind of saying goodbye and I thanked her and I thanked the reporter who was very fair in their professionalism and we were actually talking about the weather and about to get off. And the abortion advocate said, I would like to say one more thing. And she's a little bit more charged up than she was in the last clip. And the BBC reporter allowed her to say that. So I said, well, am I allowed to respond? And this was her rape comment. Roll the clip.
And I would just ask why you don't care about a 10-year-old who is raped by her father and who now will be forced to go forward, forced birth with her pregnancy. Why you don't care about a woman who was raped and who is in serious danger of having to go forward, psychological and physical trauma, really, with having the baby of her rapist. Why are those not concerns?
We work with a lot of rape victims, and we work with rape victims who buy the lie that somehow abortion is going to solve their problems. So you solve a tragedy with another tragedy. We work with rape victims who give their baby up for adoption. We work with rape victims who have had an abortion. And abortion is not designed to heal these victims when they're vulnerable. So I don't like when people just throw that out there for shock value. It's not appropriate. And we work with rape victims. Y'all don't. Yeah, my body, my choice. It's the oldest. It's the most washed up argument. And the fact that there is somebody else is the problem. That's why they're seeking an abortion, because it's not their body. It's another body. It's their baby's body. That's why they want to end the life of that body. So my body, my choice is so lame, but it's also not how we operate. We got to wear seatbelts. We can't go streaking in the middle of the street. We don't act like this except when it comes to abortion. Abortion's been the most controversial issue of our time since it was legalized. We never got over it. We were never able to sleep at night. We kept moving the goal line of when you get your dignity, like you're a mutual fund and you have more dignity over time. And we're getting out of the dehumanization business. And it's the second time in our history we're doing it. It's a great day for America.
So that's the way right when she came out and said, what about a 10-year-old who's raped? And the only edited part of that was at the beginning, before you heard my comments. I said, rape is a serious business. And I think it's important for pro-life people to say that, because as I pointed out in my comments, we don't use rape as some kind of shock value. The 10-year-old was raped, the 14-year-old was raped. We work with the 10-year-olds and the 14-year-olds. The abortion advocates don't. We help rape the ones who have chosen life, the ones who have chosen abortion. That's why so many people the last few weeks, even pro-choice people, have said the pro-life movement has won the compassionate debate the last couple of decades. And that's true. That's why I pointed out that group doesn't work with rape victims. We do. And to throw out rape as some kind of shock value, as if an abortion is designed to heal you from rape, so that's not the point of an abortion. And one of the worst things we can ever do to a victim of anything, any crime, is number one, ignore the perpetrator, which in this case, the rapist should go to the penitentiary. But number two, put them through further trauma and victimize them yet again by selling them an abortion because of the circumstances of their baby's conception. I just thought it was a good moment that we showed the disconnect of the two movements. One talks about an issue for shock value to sort of scare people into, well, yeah, I guess she does need an abortion. And the other has hands-on experience. And I'll never forget hearing two rape victims when I was a student at Texas A&M University. One chose life, one chose abortion. And the one that chose abortion said something that I'll never forget. And that is that logically, the world says you have the abortion to remove the rape. And she said the opposite happened. And as a 21-year-old or 20-year-old young man who's an idiot and doesn't know anything, I never thought about that. And she said, but I ended up with 2 anniversaries. And every time that rape anniversary, something she never forgot, obviously, when that came around, it reminded her of the abortion. When the abortion came around, it reminded her of the rape. And these 2 things, every year of her life, are reminding her of the trauma. And then, of course, the other woman who chose life said that she gave the baby up for adoption, and that was the channel and the vessel of healing, that there was this light at the end of the tunnel, that she had this son now, grown up, who, despite his dad being a criminal, he still made it. Because Americans always believe in the underdog. We never hold kids accountable for their criminal fathers. We say, you can overcome this, you can do it. And it's not easy. Rape is not an easy circumstance. It's less than 1% of all abortions, but it doesn't matter, especially if you're one of those less than 1% rape victims. So I think it shows it's very disingenuous for the abortion industry and abortion advocates. They always throw out rape for shock value, but they don't really deal with rape victims. The pro-life movement does, and we do so on the sidewalks. We do so in the pregnancy resource centers, and occasionally we do so in the court system. So it's just another example, and hopefully it gives you a little bit of confidence moving forward that we shouldn't just shrink up when rape is brought up. We got a lot of great feedback on the book, What to Say When. We cover rape extensively in that book. It is important that you know what to say when it comes up. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You need to be equipped to say that. And you need to know that the loving side towards the rape victim is coming from the pro-life movement. It's not coming from the abortion industry that's trying to just toss them aside by doing a quick fix and having an abortion. So a lot of things are being said in the media and out there at your 4th of July parties a few weeks ago, or work or family. Just be equipped and know that when we speak the truth in love, that's what changes hearts and minds, and that's what we're seeing. And there's simply a very disconnect, a group of people that support abortion, and we need to highlight that when possible.